Hi, everyone. David Aragona and Mike Beer here taking a look at some Kentucky Derby contenders. And that first Saturday in May is right around the corner. We're just over a week away. So you want to make your handicapping plan and make sure you've got those PPs ready to be handicapped when the card is drawn this upcoming Saturday. So make sure to check out our Kentucky Derby packages. You can save up to 39% of the value of this entire package if you bundle the betting strategies, the player's guide, clock reports. You can bet it for for Oaks and Derby Day. Just Derby Day. Check out all the options for how you can purchase these packages at shop.drf.com. Mike, let's focus in on one of the Japanese contenders in this year's Kentucky Derby, Luxor Cafe. And it feels like he is the main hope for Japan this year. Admire Daytona, who we already profiled, was going to be a bigger price, but Luxor Cafe feels like the one that could really attract some support in this race. And when you watch his races, I kind of get it, because this horse has shown star potential at different points in his career, including in the most recent start, which we'll take a look at the replay for, this Fukuryu Stakes, where he was stretching out to the 9 furlongs for the second start in his career. And boy, did this horse show quite the acceleration to put this field away.
Yeah, don't know who is behind him in here. And you get the sense, though, that it didn't matter. He absolutely dominates this field in really impressive fashion. I think it's one of the things that I like most about him too, David, is, when I watched the Hyacinth a few times earlier, I wasn't blown away with his performance there, but he certainly got the job done. His 2 races going 9 furlongs are way more impressive.
I completely agree with that. You go back and watch the race 3 back, also 9 furlongs over the same track, and it was almost a carbon copy of the stakes race last time, where he just showed this awesome turn of foot to accelerate away from the field. So it doesn't feel like longer distances are muting that late run at all for Luxor Cafe. So that does give some hope for him handling the stretch out to 10 furlongs. Though, Mike, when you look at the pedigree, it might give you a little bit of cause for pause, because it's all American bloodlines for this horse. He's by Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh. But you look at the dam side pedigree, and he's a half brother to a couple of horses who were really specialists at the mile distance. Cafe Pharaoh, who competed over in Japan, won multiple Group 1 races on the dirt, primarily going the mile distance, but also Regal Glory, who American fans are familiar with, who was a really good turf miler for the Chad Brown barn.
Yeah, exactly. As far as his performance goes on the track, it seems like longer distances are no issue. But he does have more of a miler's pedigree. He also has tons of turf down there too. So would love to see this horse get a chance to switch surfaces. But listen, I can't really knock him too much, David. I feel like one of the things that I haven't liked too much about his races, even the 2 really good performances over 9 furlongs, is they do seem, and this might just be have to do with the competition he's facing, and he's so much better than these horses, but they do seem to make a concerted effort to keep this horse outside and in the clear in all of his races. And if that's something that he needs to be effective, that could be a real problem.
Yeah, that's a really good point about him, because I agree. You watch those races and it seems pretty deliberate that they don't want this horse behind in the kickback. I will say those races over in Japan, they run over really sandy dirt courses, and it feels like kickback is way more of an issue for a lot of horses over there than it might be at a place like Churchill Downs, where the dirt course is much tighter. I know there was a narrative about that for Forever Young last year, about how he didn't like the kickback in Japan and reacted badly to it a couple times. He seemed just fine racing through kickback in the United States. So maybe that'll be less of an issue for Luxor Cafe. Mike, my big question about him is the fact that he is the Japan Road to the Derby qualifier. And while we did see Forever Young almost take down the Derby for Japan last year, he took the UAE route to the Derby. He won the UAE Derby and then came over to the United States. That is a route that a lot of international competitors have tried. This Japan Road to the Derby, coming over all the way from Japan to Churchill Downs, it's not something that they've had a ton of success with or even tried that many times in the past. So the fact that this horse is trying to do this through an unproven method gives me a little bit of cause for pause.
I'll agree with that as well. It's also, when you're talking about a horse, and listen, who knows, where he ultimately settles when the wagering's all said and done, but he also feels like a horse who's not going to be some kind of giant price in this race.
No, I was making my morning line or tweaking it earlier this week. I had him as the co-third choice. Maybe that's a little bit low. That you look at some of the international markets and he's 10-1 or lower almost everywhere internationally. Maybe it won't be bet that way in the United States, but we'll see how the American public assesses this very intriguing contender for the Kentucky Derby, Luxor Cafe. Those are our thoughts on this top Japanese hope, but let us know. Leave a comment down below if this horse, Luxor Cafe, can deliver Japan its first Kentucky Derby victory.